Superman. We're here. We are the Beer with Geeks, Tim and Frank, and I am Vactor. Welcome back to This Month in Superman, your monthly breakdown of the best Superman comics on the stands. Here's how it works. Each of us picks one book that we love the most, and we go all in on it. And there's never a time that we all pick the same book. It has never happened, and it never will. So we're all going to pick our own individual comics, and then we'll speed run through the rest of the Superman family in our honorable mentions. That's all the books that feature like Supergirl, Power Girl, all the extended Superman family, but not Big Blue himself. So we're going to talk all of these things here on This Month in Superman. And I want to get the most, I should say, the most fantastic Beatles TikToker in the history of TikTok, SuperFrank. What is your pick of the month this month?
Hello, I am the Eggman, and I pick for us this month. I really enjoyed Superman number 30. This was a fun read for me. I am always a sucker for the Superboy Prime stuff. I am always a sucker for some Booster Gold, some very meta humor. What was it? Dan Jurgens gonna hate this. I just that did it for me. That sent me. I was totally here for that one. Yep.
Yes.
Yep. Did you guys did you Tim, how are you feeling about Booster Gold?
So this was almost my pick. I didn't feel it was as strong as the previous issues, so it kind of a little bit for me. Was more attracted to a different book, but truthfully, it took me on a ride that I wasn't expecting. Like it actually gave me a twist that I wasn't anticipating, and I appreciated that about the book. And I'm like slowly starting like this incline slope of appreciating Booster Gold. So
Okay.
I wasn't even holding that against the book in any particular way.
Nice. All right. So that's where you are on the curve. You're starting to still on the upswing.
Yeah, and we're heading to a good place with the Absolute Universe and the regular Prime Universe kind of coming head to head for some reason. But I just for whatever reason that is. But this was a goodie. But truthfully, I think it was a goodie because of Superboy Prime the most. I think his meta humor is what sold this book for me, as opposed to like other issues where I was sold by everything else plus the meta. Whereas like the meta was the thing that really made this worth reading for me this time.
Yes. Man, I don't know how many superlatives. I don't know how much praise I can put on Dan Mora's art. It just continues to be my favorite art of any comic book artist. Just there's something that hits my core and my being of who I am, and it says you will like this. Like this art, like you can see it in the cover here, is just fantastic. He is at the top of his game. I think he just gets better and better as time goes on. And the story that's being told right now amongst Superman and all of these, like we're dipping into the absolute universe and the main DC universe and all these things that are tying together. I think this is going to be just a very nice collection. Once everything is done, once everything is in a hardcover format, I think it's just going to be a really good super story. We haven't seen if they stick the landing yet, but I'm just really enjoying the time trapper stuff and the way that Superman like flipping our expectations of who Doomsday is. We all have this notion of Doomsday going back to when we were young, when Doomsday was created to be the killer of Superman, and just kind of that almost like mindless Hulk type figure of I'm just made to kill Superman, and how the backstory has come about and how he's evolved into the time trapper now. He has really become a fascinating character to me, where he was like one note when we first met him. Now 30, 40 years later, however long it's been, and I'm really enjoying what they're doing with his character. And I don't know if you can see it on the live, but here in the Riverside studio as we record, a tangent hand has shot up. So Tim, what we will call on you. What say you, sir?
Thank you. So I I agree with you about Doomsday being one note, and I was never apart from Doomsday like, oh wow, it's cool. Look, he looks cool, whatever. And like, and if I never saw Doomsday again, I wouldn't care. But to give Doomsday a personality, and not even a personality, and just he's instead he's no longer just an antagonist. He's playing a true moral gray area, and a part of that grayness is he's gray, like the color, but also because because we like time is a wibbly wobbly thing, and so like we're not sure, like we don't know. Our intentions say it's no bueno because
Yes.
it's Doomsday. His
And
name
that's
is
Superman's.
Doomsday, the
That's his
Doomsday,
feeling.
right?
Mhm.
Right, but and Time Trapper isn't a great name either. Truthfully, if you have to like go on the protagonist side, you're
True.
not helping yourself. Time Trapper, but
Just makes me think of
I
Trapper
like a
Keeper,
character
and just
that's
makes
like,
me think of
Yes,
like being back in
yes,
school
yeah,
again. Like I don't.
yes.
sure, yeah, I'm the Time Trapper.
Yeah, right.
yeah, yeah, right, yeah,
Hey, they
yeah.
should sell
Were you
those.
trapping
Yeah,
it or letting it go
yeah,
like when you made
yeah.
that sound? Um,
Well, both
but
because it was a
like they
Frozen
did this like
themed Trapper Keeper, so it was a Let It Go. Anyway, never mind.
nice, nice. He was letting time go. There you go. Get out of
Got
here.
myself in
Get out of
timeout.
here.
Yes. You
I
finish
watched
each
Frozen
other's
today.
sandwiches. I love it.
Yeah.
That's what I was. I love that you guys are doing that. Yeah, man. I just really like. I was reading the what was the All In special or there's so many specials that are going on here. Whatever the like the connection to what's setting up DCKO, which is actually coming out.
Mm.
The first issue of DCKO is coming out
Technically, that
next
is
month. Or
this
this
month
month.
in
I'm sorry.
Superman, not
Yeah,
last month in
I'm
Superman. So shut
I'm
up because I
time.
haven't read it yet. Yeah.
Well, not I'm not giving anything away, but just saying I'm enjoying that progression of it's like, oh, I didn't even realize it was part of this story. So
Mm.
I'm like,
Mm.
yeah, this is more stuff and more flame on the fire or more
Yeah.
fanning of the flame.
I
Yes,
I
yes,
do
Tim.
feel that I love the fan race thing. That's just very helpful.
Tim, yes.
I do feel that we're getting very close to like the diamond era, like or
Oh,
whatever
Triangle
the
Ooh,
Era.
triangle era
oversaturation.
of oversaturation, where I
Mm,
just like I have to read Superman and Justice League Unlimited
right, right.
and this one shot
Yeah,
and this thing to get the whole story.
right.
And I don't, truthfully, I don't love that because I don't have the money for something like that. Um, I like, I don't even have, no, that's not true. I can afford it. It's like, they're not that much money to buy one comic. Like, like, so, you get one less coffee at Dunkin' Donuts or whatever, like, it's fine. I don't have the time.
Hmm.
to-
That's the
it's
big one.
really
Yep.
time. I am not the time tracker. No, as you can see, I'm more of a tan than gray. I I don't have the time to devote to reading time and in together that I think are truthfully like diluting the story a little bit because like Mark Wade can't go off because we're too busy wrapping this into DCKO, and Scott Snyder's writing that with somebody else who I cannot
Right.
remember. So that I don't love that. It feels a little bit too much like you got to read it all, and I'm like getting to the point where I'm like, well, maybe it's time that I stop reading
Yeah.
all of them, but I don't want to because I love them. So
Yeah,
it's
I definitely feel that.
it's tough.
Joshua Williamson is the other writer on DCKO, which, yeah,
That's right. Whom I also
yes.
really like.
Who?
Yeah, maybe more than Scott
Whoa,
Snyder. I will get
oh,
back to you. Yeah, sometimes Scott Snyder's events are just a little
yeah,
too much.
metal.
Like they
Hmm.
just
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, metal, Metal 2, like, yeah,
Super
like,
metal, yeah.
his Justice League run sometimes just a little too, like, fancy
Yeah.
vibey things, and then I'm just gonna glaze over and then go to what you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, because if I glaze over it, turns out I didn't need to read it after all because everything still makes sense, which means
Yes.
unnecessary wording. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I
So
I
anyway,
I 100% feel you on that. I mean, especially with us doing this podcast where we're ingesting all of the super titles, it does get to a point where, you know, the stuff that falls to the bottom that doesn't rise to the top, you're like, oh man, why am I still reading this out of obligation and not out of I'm enjoying this and we're having a good time? Definitely, I feel that. Yep.
mhm.
So Joshua Williamson wrote Superman number 30, which is Frank's pick of the month. And yeah, I just echo everything that you guys said. Like the Booster Gold, the Legion, and Superboy Prime to me was the MVP. That was the best part about it because I might have mentioned this on this podcast, but I've definitely mentioned it on other podcasts. Any character that breaks the fourth wall, for me, since I was a kid, like I was like, you can do that? That's
Mhm.
possible? Like Ferris Bueller, like anybody who spoke to the camera, Zach Morris in Saved by the Bell, or there was like Out of This World. There was one where she would like stop time and like things that were just out of the ordinary, and they stepped out of their time zone.
Mhm.
That for me as a kid was always something that I was fond of. So, fourth wall breaking characters, She Hulk, Deadpool, anybody that references, hey, I'm in a
Yes.
comic book. I always like that. So Superboy
Always.
Prime, yeah, the Jurgens reference and the Crisis references, and he knows all these things. That just made me laugh.
Big Crisis references all the way. I mean, down to the end, like building the machine and strapping Booster to it. Like I loved all of that. Yeah, to
Yes,
summon Darkseid. Yeah.
all of that was fantastic. Frank, anything else that you had to say about Superman number 30, or shall we move on to Tim Tangent's pick of the month?
Let's
Tim,
roll that beautiful Tim Tangent footage.
yes. What is
Hey,
your
it's
pick
like
of the month?
my my pick of the month. My pick of the month is Adventures of Superman, Book of L, Part One. A very long title, maybe too long. I'll get back to you. But written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, who Frank had the pleasure of meeting not too long ago,
Oh,
Sure did.
yes, that's right.
and interviewing for that matter. I shouldn't just say meeting. Like you're like, yeah, I was at a convention. You were there. No, Frank was on a stage with Philip Kennedy Johnson doing a
I have
thing,
the autograph to prove it.
being awesome.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Oh, yes.
there you go.
I love it.
We also have pictures, which we have shown. So I'm not going to do it again. But good stuff. This is art by Scott Godowski. This is a direct continuation of Philip Kennedy Johnson's run on Superman or Action Comics.
Hmm.
I should say. It was Action, right?
It was action.
Frank, you had the book right
Yeah.
there. Yeah, it was Action. Okay. Which I loved that story, and so I'm glad that it is continuing. It turns out I did not remember tons because when you like it, this book is as a direct continuation. You're like, you don't remember who any of these people are. Well, too bad. I'm not going to tell you. Let's get
Mhm.
started. So, and sometimes I actually do appreciate that. We're like, that's my bad. I didn't remember. That's actually on me, not you. It's okay. You don't have to like treat me like an idiot. I'll catch up. I'm good. Um, but I like that it's continuing the story with the kids and because they've kind of fallen off. They've kind of fallen off in the story. We got some was it Osul and Otho, the two
Hmm.
kids, and we've got some good mom and pop stuff in here. Um, some really nice like super family bonding stuff, like with Lois and Ma and Pa and Clark and the kids and Jonathan and every. It's been it's been good. And truthfully, the art mostly is what sold me on this book than anything. I just was really taken by the expansive, almost widescreen uh,
Mm.
story.
Yes.
and I like the dual timeline. Multiple timeline structure is always fun, and then and seeing how they're going to wrap back around and connect and whatever. But like I said, that's the only downside of this one. Like shoulda read up on what I read in War World first before I started here. But I mean, yeah, look at that. But if you go to the next page, if you're able to do that
Yes.
on
Let
here, there's
me
just like
get that.
some like it's got that like
Ooh,
larger than
yes.
life Kirby-ness going on.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's what I and I know like Jack Kirby and Superman are not exactly explicitly linked together. Um, but comics and Jack Kirby are. So when it gets big like that, when it gets really big with wild out there alien designs in space and whatever, I'm like, Jack Kirby, like look at that.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Jack Kirby. Yeah.
Yeah, this is
And that's
fantastic.
what I yeah, that so this kind of stuff is what I'm here for. I'm excited for this.
Mm, yes. I actually forgot what was going on because it's been so long, and I was also like tied up in the other Superman stuff. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? Like, what? Why is he not with the Time Trapper? What's going on? But once I got my bearings, and I was like, oh, okay, I understand what's going on and who wrote this. Then I was like, oh yeah, we are strapping in for another epic here.
Mm.
This was a ton of fun for me.
Yeah, same.
I think partly
I
what I
would have
loved
been a
about
lot
it.
more lost on all of that had it not been for had I not just reread this because I was on a flight and had the book in hand because I'd gotten it signed by him. Otherwise, I would have been a lot more lost. Because I had not read it in a, such a long time. But I was I I I was like very much on board once I sort of was yeah, got my bearings.
Yeah, man. I am
What I think
loving this stuff.
what I
Yes, go.
think what I do think uh works about this book, which was a comment from the previous books that I feel like I have to read, but this is just it's continuity, but it's just doing its own thing. It's not concerned about what's happening with Time Trapper or happening with Darkseid or anything. It's just continuing a
Mm,
good story. And where does it fit in the timeline? Who cares? It's comics. The timeline is going to change anything. Stories that take 7 months to tell in our time take an hour in their time. Like who cares when it takes place? So
yes.
I appreciate that.
Yes, 100%. There's always that back and forth pull in my mind of, and it's like this with TV as well. Like, okay, the standalone stories versus the overarching, continuity stories. Where do they like? I like both, and they each have their strengths and weaknesses. And I like to have a steady stream of both and not just one or the other. So yeah, it's
Mhm.
fun to get the stuff that we're getting with the dark side and the Legion and all that stuff, and then also to have these side stories, which is also fun for me to have stuff like my pick of the month this month, Superman, the Kryptonite Spectrum by issue number two, which we talked about last month. The team behind the Ice Cream Man is doing this Black Label book, and I am a very bad comic book reader because I have been hearing about Ice Cream Man since it first came out, and I've always like, yeah, I'll read that. I'll read that one day, and then it's like years later. Oh yeah, I still haven't even read the first issue yet. So I'm still upset about that. Tim, you have a question?
I am like you. I also have not read Ice Cream Man, but every time I read the Kryptonite Spectrum, I associate it in my mind with Ice Cream Man, even though I haven't read it. So I'm just expecting someone to eat ice cream at some point. I think I
I mean,
Are you telling
swear
me Ice
I
Cream
had
Man
a
is not the villain of this story?
dream like last week about the Kryptonite Spectrum, and
yes.
no, just like I had a dream. Like I legit had a dream last week, and it was like and they were like, "Why is Superman not eating ice cream in the Kryptonite Spectrum?" Like it was like this weird, like, why is this not happening? Anyway, that was I don't know why. It's just
That
like
makes me.
I've not even read the book, so I don't know why my mind is like you should be associating these things. I read a lot of
That's
comics
funny.
from creators who I haven't read their previous stuff. Like, but whatever reason, this one, like Ice Cream Man.
Dang. That makes me think of those Spider-Man, like the popsicles that were Spider-Man shape, and then they had like gumball eyes,
Oh yeah.
just superhero, like something you would get from the Ice Cream Man as he was coming around town.
I
Um,
just bought one
that
for my
makes me
daughter
think
a
about
couple
that.
weeks ago at a sunflower festival here in
Ooh,
town.
yes,
It was
yes.
still melty and did not look like Spider-Man at all.
Yes, I love it. But man, the
What did it
kryptonite
taste?
spectrum. Yeah, tell us, Frank. Tell us. Give us the lowdown.
I mean that Kryptonite Spectrum. Oh my god! Like
Oh no,
I,
I meant
No, 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 no.
the ice
The
cream.
ice cream,
the
the
ice cream.
Spider-Man ice cream taste good. Did
It
it
just was
taste like
melty
Spider-Man?
and like did it
Yeah.
taste like Spider-Man? That is a question for Mary Jane and Gwen. But all I can
Oh.
tell you is that Kryptonite Spectrum was
Oh,
my Kryptonite Spectrum is the correct answer to the question of what was the pick of the month.
What was
Um,
the pick? Yeah, you just
yeah,
happened at first.
right.
Vactor. Yeah. Yeah.
It was so good. I mean, it was the most enjoyable read for me. Laughs and smiles all throughout. The Bruce and Clark back and forth was great. Kaiju stuff. I mean, it's fantastic. Fantastic.
yes. And the narrative structure of the starting in the middle and then flashing back to what
Loved it.
happened, like you're like, what is going on here? And I was like, when I was first reading it, I was like, wait a minute, did I miss this? I went back to book one and I was like, wait, where did book one end?
Ah,
Oh, okay, I see what they're doing. And this, just the premise alone, like the elevator pitch for this series of Superman is going through different shades and new variants of kryptonite and finding what happens to him, like the effects of this new kryptonite. That you already had me at hello. You had me at kryptonite. I love seeing the different, like, okay, what it's almost like I'm trying to think of like a analogy of something that, like a blind box that you open up and you're like, "Oh, I did not know I was going to get this." Tim, what is it? Tell me, Tim. Tell me what it's
It
called.
is it is Alice in Wonderland. It
Yeah.
is
Mm,
like, oh, what will happen when I drink this in this bottle? This says drink me. What will happen when I eat this
yes.
cookie? This says eat me. Whatever. I get really big. I get really small. I look like a walrus. Whatever it is. Like it's just
Which
it's got
Batman,
that wild whimsy. He talks about
yeah, and
Alice
he
in the second
yeah,
issue.
he even says it. Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I don't remember that at all. I'm actually reading Alice in Wonderland right now. That's why it's in my head. That's wild.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm looking at one of the pages here, and he says, "Why is a raven like a writing desk?" And then
Yes.
Superman's like, "What's that? Some kind of
That's
riddle?"
right.
And he's like, "It's from Alice in Wonderland." So, man, Tim, you were right on. Tim Tangent coming in with the great literary references. I would
Conscious
expect
was
no
like, "You're an
less.
idiot. You it already it like made it for you." Like, it's like
Man, but yeah, it's like just that. Yes. Just that notion of what can come next. That is what makes me happy every time I'm seeing this, and it also makes me think about the golden age and the silver age of, all right, red kryptonite. Like anything could happen. His head could turn into a giant ant, or all of those crazy, wacky, silly things. That's comic books. That's why, and we talked about it when we reviewed the Superman movie, the Silver Age aspects of James Gunn's Superman is what made me really love it. And even the Fantastic Four movie that we got this year, the First Steps film, just these type of shots of, which is Alice in Wonderland, 100%. This is what I am here for. I love this, and I want more of this. Uh, do we know how many books this is? Because each one is called a book instead of an issue. Do we know
I
how
think
many?
it's either 6 or 8.
Ooh,
how many types of kryptonite are there? Usually that might be the indicator.
I don't know if there's
That's
a
another-
I don't know if there's a determinate
set?
number.
I think testing 4, so is
Hmm.
the 4 issues. Like that's like but I do
Yeah,
not
it doesn't
know.
say
I don't know.
I
on
mean,
the series here.
6 to 7 is average for a story arc in a comic. You do
Yep.
6 to 7. Um,
right.
but Kryptonite Spectrum, I think the issues are a little bit longer than your average comic
True.
issue, which would make me think
Yeah,
that it's
they're about 30.
4.
Yeah, it looks like they're 32 pages. Yeah.
I mean, it's
so-
Black Label, so it's a whole different world, right? Like we don't know what.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah. If anyone knows, put it down in the comments on how many issues we're going to get on the Kryptonite Spectrum. But I mean, we're just at the start. We're just scratching the surface of Lex's plans and how is he going to play into this. And I don't know where this series is going, but I'm just super happy every time I read it and every time I get a new issue of Kryptonite Spectrum. Um, there's all these elements at play here: the friendship between Superman and Batman, the rivalry between Superman and Lex, and even now it's crazy. Every time I see Krypto now, even though he's been around. Oh, I'm sorry, Frank. I just saw your hand raised there. Go ahead.
Oh no, it's all good. Tim adds, yes, it is going to be 5 issues. I just saw that
Okay, perfect.
as well. Yes, so yes, we're both.
Excellent.
Yeah, 5 issues for that one. No, I was gonna when you mentioned something before, it made me think of the I in this book. With the Silver Age stuff, I really dug the art style. I felt was also very Silver. I actually feel like the art style has been very Frank Quitely reminiscent for me, right?
That is 100%.
Physicality that he has, and the sort of the roundness that things have. It very much gives that same vibe, as well as the not just the art style, but the actual what's being depicted is very Silver Age. Just I thought fantastic stuff. The little slice of life thing that I thought was funny was the lady with the spreadsheet. Actually, as part of the whole, like, you were talking about the starting in the middle and then going back to, like, just seeing the origin story of her spreadsheet and her being like explaining to her coworker like what like a pivot table is. It's like that. Yeah. Anyway, I just thought that was and Green Lantern was right, kids. Hit Control S as often as you can because you don't want to lose unless you're or use something modern like Google Docs that will just automatically saves. But
just save it for you.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, 100%.
I also saving your work, monster.
Yes.
If it was really that important.
I think about that,
Linda.
Right. I save every 2 seconds whenever I'm working on something, even when it's not important, even if it's like, I was gonna say we use the Google Docs for our show notes and it automatically saves it, but normally I'm just like Control S every 2 seconds. I loved the ending of this book when Superman drinks chemo. Is it chemo or chemo?
I don't know. I was thinking chemo myself, but
chemo feels weird, right?
It
feels weird to make chemo.
That's why we're questioning it.
So I think we're gonna say chemo.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think it's supposed to be chemo, but I don't know.
It was just a great kind of cliffhanger of him drinking it and then turning into this little, which actually leads into the next issue's cover art. It's him and Shazam on a swing set.
Yeah.
And he's like Superboy, and Shazam, and I think this is going to be something that they play up, that aspect of the boy trapped in the man's body, and he just wants to play, because there's different versions of Shazam or Captain Marvel, if you're nasty, where he's either the kid in the giant body where he acts like he's a kid, and that's funny, and we've seen various, like on Young Justice and different versions of that Captain Marvel or Shazam. And then there's a version where he's like almost, I was gonna say the movie, but they're trying to be like the kid in the adult body. But I don't. The difference. Anyway, it's a Shazam movie. Uh, that's a whole nother thing. But there's another version where he's like an adult and then he reverts into the child
Hmm.
and he acts like an adult. So like there's these two versions. Tim, you raise your hand.
Yes, I would like to know from both of your perspectives. We're talking about Captain Shazam, Marvel. The if he has the wisdom of Solomon, should he act like a kid at all,
Mm-mm.
or
Yeah.
should he be acting like an adult? Because we all know
Mm-mm.
some pretty unwise adults, but they don't necessarily act like kids. Um, so I think, like, to your point, the Shazam movies, it's like its own thing, but he's like Billy the Kid is actually wiser than
Right.
Shazam the adult in
Right.
those movies. Like he
Right.
somehow like reverses it.
Yeah.
Like, so I don't he I think he was supposed to become an adult and think like an adult and whatever else. And it's just a great mystery that he was a kid, but um I'm not like adults can say "Holy cheese whiz, is that Superboy?" But I think you're right. In this case, I think they're definitely going for a kid in an adult's body
Yeah.
because he's gonna
Yeah.
be maybe an adult with a kid's body. Like
Right.
it's like so the reversal of their fortunes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Right.
know. Good juxtaposition.
I
Yeah.
thought after
Just
all the Alice in Wonderland stuff, like where he was physically large, you'd expect him to become physically small, but no, no, no. Instead, he became young. Like I like that as a misdirect.
right. Yeah. And just from the and I'm trying to pull up
Alice is
the
right.
yes, that was excellent. Just from the next book, like I said, the next issue, which I wish Riverside had an easier way for me to pull up covers on here. But the way that he's speaking and the way that he's acting, he's obviously on a swing set. Like we're meant to believe that okay, he's a kid in a man's body.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that is going to be in that Silver Age, like playing up that goofiness, and that's going to be fun. I'm really excited to see what we get out of the next issue. And again, this is a great advertisement for Ice Cream Man. Like this is making me want to read Ice Cream Man every time I read Kryptonite Spectrum.
I almost bought it right now while we were talking. I was like on Amazon. I was like, maybe I
You
should
know
get it.
what?
But you know what? I'm
You,
like behind on my monthly book, so never mind like reading
yeah.
something for fun. That's not.
I
Well,
just want to
Sorry,
buy
yeah.
ice cream. Period.
I was gonna
That
say I'll leave a link to Ice Cream Man in our show notes, where you can get it, and maybe a little piece comes over to this comic cooks so I can buy some ice cream myself. Maybe. So I'll put a link in our description in our show notes. But yes, shout out to W. Maxwell Prince, the writer Martin Morasso, and Chris O'Halloran, the artists on the Superman Kryptonite Spectrum. I am loving it. I think we all could have made this our collective pick of the month, but we did want to spread it out just a little bit. And speaking of spread out, real quick before we get out of here, I wanted to. This is. Oh, go ahead, Tim.
I have my hand raised.
Yeah.
Will you ignoring me?
Officially
Like,
raise your
get out of
hand,
here.
Tim.
Yeah, I did.
Raise your
I
hand.
did. Um, so I would like to know what you think Superman. So, like, this is like some story analysis time. Sorry,
Yes, this is
guys.
why you're here, Tim. This is
Let me
why.
grow
Yeah,
English
tell
teacher
us.
on you. I know, I know. I don't do this a lot, but I hate to do it here because it's worth doing. So, like, basic story structure is, or character structure is that every character has a want, a need, a lie, and a ghost. They
Mm,
want something, but they in fact need something that they're
mm,
unaware of. They are haunted by something from their past or a decision that they have made. That is their ghost. And there's a lie that the world is telling them that they believe to be true. Okay. And so I want to know what Superman's needs in this book. Not like she's like, I'm dumping you. And he's like, what? What are you talking about? I'm Superman.
mm.
So
Yeah.
but I that is that is I want to know. I want to know more down that path. Like, what lie is the world telling that is the Superman belief in this story? Uh,
Mm.
and he's haunted by
Yeah.
something I think also related to Lois in this case. But I would like your insight, both of you, on this.
This is a chin scratcher, Tim. This is some very good stuff. And like I
I
said,
know.
this
Well,
is
it's because we don't have
why.
the whole story yet. But like,
Right.
Hmm.
yeah, we don't have the whole
Yeah.
story yet, right? So we can't. But yeah. But there's something going on with Lois. We've got two issues with his
Hmm.
relationship with Lois that is
Yeah.
all over the place.
Hmm.
So and it's very un-Superman like in some ways. It's like it's not consistent Superman characterization where Superman to be like he just doesn't get it. So I'd like to know I'd like to know more there. That's what I think is intriguing me about the story as I sit on it, as
Yeah.
the weeks
A
tick by
hundred
until the
percent.
next issue.
I don't have a specific thought on that, Frank. I don't know if you do, but that is very interesting to ponder as I'm thinking about it now.
I don't have a specific theory on it, but I do wonder about something about the way that he took for granted, like yeah, she broke up with me, but that's okay. I don't. There's still nobody I would trust more. I mean, normally I wouldn't question that because there's no journalist you should trust more than Lois Lane. Uh, but it makes me wonder: is he being naive there? Or were they showing that? Is that the Chekhov's gun that's going to go off later?
Yeah. Right.
Chekhov's
We
gun.
shall
Nice.
see.
Yeah. Um,
Yes.
I don't know. Yeah.
This will be interesting. Well, put a pin in that, listeners, readers, and we will see. We will come back to that as we continue to talk more about the Kryptonite Spectrum. Oh man, it's going to be hard for this to not be my pick of the month every month. This is almost taking that
Not if
absolute
I read it
Superman
first.
spot.
Get out of here.
Oh, um, and I did want to say real quick about Absolute Superman. The last couple issues have been kind of stagnant for me, like rolling in place. But this last issue that we got, which was Absolute Superman number 11,
Hmm.
I thought was really poignant about his relationship with Soul and calling him a brother and Soul L, and the way that it showed Soul wrapping around and protecting him, literally becoming his fortress. And in the age of AI assistants and all of these things that we got going on, I'm really liking the. I mean, I like that idea from the beginning when Jason Aaron first introduced that in the first issue, but as he's gotten more time to expand upon that, I'm really enjoying that aspect. And I thought about this issue specifically, what he's doing, what he's showing us in the world of Superman. Shout out Spidey Dude. He is a fantastic person. Everyone check out if you are a fan of Spider-Man, the Spidey. I always mix up Spidey Dude Radio, Spidey Radio Dude Network. They have some fantastic content and some great interviews. So, hello, Spidey Dude. But I was thinking about like everything that Jason Aaron has taken in the absolute Superman universe and the mythos and what we know about Superman and how he has flipped it and changed it, but we still get that essence of the character and the core of Superman. And everything started with that he was older when Krypton exploded and he
Hmm.
lost them. And so that one change altered, I think, the way that he arrived on Earth and how much time he got to spend with the Kents and how that alters his whole path. And we're seeing that with this absolute Superman. I feel like he's angrier and he's a lot more emotional. Although they even say it in this last issue that, all right, you're around that age where you're gonna, uh, I almost thought he was gonna give him the birds and the bees talk for a
Right.
second, but I I just like what Jason Aaron is doing with all of the characters and all of the mythos that we know about Superman, and moving it around just a little bit. And I think once we're done, this is going to be a really good collection. Another one that once we get that hardcover of Absolute Superman, I'm really enjoying what Jason Aaron is doing. But like I said, just a little bit of stagnation in there in between on Absolute Superman. And I do want to say that we have some honorable mentions, but I'm just going to put them in the description. If you're interested in the Superman family and everything that's happening, I really got to say Justice League Red has been a fun read with Power Girl and what's going on over there. If anyone is interested in that, and then also real quick, the new history of the DC universe. They got to the Doomsday section and then the Reign of the Supermen section. So that stuff, I always like to see the splash page of, hey, remember this? Remember this? So fun stuff, my friends. Also, speaking of fun stuff, this month, October, as we are recording this, just the alignment of the weeks and the schedule kind of got to us. So we're already in October, but tomorrow, DCKO #1 comes out. Now, this is the big event where every hero steps into the ring, and Superman is right at the center of it all. So we are going to be talking about that next episode, DCKO. And also, I wanted to mention at the end of the month, so like the opposite, October 29th, Superman Red and Blue 2025 special #1 drops. And it's an all-star lineup of creators, and looks like Paul Dini, Dan Abnett, Michael Walsh, Rainbow Rowell, and it's an anthology book. So that sounds like fun. We're going to be talking about that on the next episode this month in Superman October timeline. But before we get out of here, I did want to say Frank and Tim run a fantastic podcast called Beer with Geeks. And you don't even have to be an alcoholic to enjoy the Beer with Geeks, because they will entertain you whether you are sober or not. And I wanted to ask the geeks what you got cooking over there on your podcast, guys.
Well, when this comic isn't cooking, we are cooking up things like Star Trek: The Next Generation. We are, yeah. Tim just did a what I'm calling a warp speed binge through that series, and he has some very interesting things to share.
Maybe Warp 2 wasn't.
I think it was like Warp 2.8. I did the math.
Okay, yeah. Not going very fast. It took 2.5 years basically to watch 7 seasons.
Warp is warp, okay?
Warp is warp.
I mean, you're still fitting 7 into 2. That's
Thank
great.
you. That's what I'm saying.
Right. That's math we actually can't do. Yeah,
we don't have that technology yet, and that is why we need Star Trek.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is
just got a new subscriber. Thank you
Spidey
very much,
Dude.
Spidey
Thank you,
Spidey Dude. So that's where you'll find us, beerwithgeeks.com or on YouTube at beerwithgeeks. And Vactor mentioned at the beginning, I've been doing some Beatles stuff on TikTok. You can find me Frank Ramblings on TikTok. Let's check that out.
If you are a Beatles fan, you owe it to yourself to check out Frank's TikToks. They have been fantastic. They have really brightened my day. Every time I'm on my TikTok feed and I see Frank's face and I hear his voice, I say, I know I'm going to be educated and entertained at the same time. So definitely check out Frank's TikTok. And I'm putting out, I'm trying to put this into the universe. If I could get a Tim Tangent timeline of Tim giving me Batman facts on his TikTok, and I see his face and I hear his voice, then my TikTok timeline would be complete. That's all I need, Tim. So make it happen. I want to see it tomorrow. All right, go.
Nope.
That would be a tangent timeline.
Yes.
That would require me to
Well,
make a TikTok account, and I can't help you. So
uh,
yeah,
I
they
will
told me
still be
no.
here.
I said I have an email, and they were like, "No, I don't care. Get out of here."
What?
Yeah.
I will still be here wanting it and dreaming. Hey, maybe you could do it on this show, Tim. Give us some bat facts at the end of every episode of this month in Superman. That makes sense, right?
Yeah,
I
totally.
want to thank everybody who's here, everybody who joined us live, and Tim and Frank. You guys are the best. But that is September. I think this was a good month, the month
Mhm.
of Superman. If you only read one book this month, make it Kryptonite Spectrum. It is the fun of September, I think. Excellent stuff. I am Vactor. On behalf of Tim and Frank, stay strong, stay hopeful, and stay super, everybody. We'll see you next month.